Now, blockchain technology is absolutely booming across the board. You may have heard Bitcoin reached an all-time high again recently, and the trend is that it just keeps going in that way. Now, the technology that cryptocurrencies are built on is called blockchain, and in this video I'm going to talk about some of the potential applications that blockchain has to healthcare. So watch till the end to make sure you get the full benefit. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sarmed and I am a doctor who works in London. I make videos about health. If that is something you're into, then hit the sub button below so you can stay informed. I answer all your questions and suggestions, so make sure to drop a comment below if you have any. I'm going to start by telling you a little story. A few months ago, I was working in the orthopedic department in the hospital as a part of my GP training, and we met a patient who sadly had a fracture. Orthopedics deal with bones, that's what we fix, but the way it works in the UK is that not every hospital has every specialist. Even if you have orthopedic surgeons, you may not necessarily have the subspecialists required for every single type of orthopedic surgery. There are more specialized national, which we call quaternary centers, where secondary centers like hospitals will refer their patients to when they become too complicated for them to manage. This was one of those patients. So basically he had a scan done, and the surgeons basically decided that this fracture was probably too complicated to fix where we were, and so they wanted us to get an opinion from the other center. So I stayed on the phone for a very long time, a few hours, and it was quite painful. And then I got through to the other side, and they'd mentioned that the radiology team hadn't sent across the images from our side, and so they couldn't give us an opinion. So all that time that I was spent on the phone was essentially wasted. So think about the inefficiencies there. And then I chased the radiology team. They said they didn't have any control over the system and it was going to take however long it took, and eventually it took too long, and the orthopedic surgeons in our department decided to go ahead and do the operation anyway without the second opinion, because this guy, poor guy, was left with his broken leg and his operation was being delayed because of this transfer of data, and he was in pain, and etc, etc. So eventually we did the operation, and then after doing the operation we got the second opinion back from the specialist center. They'd replied to our message and they said, yes, this patient needs care in our hospital. He needs a special type of surgery which we can do, and send him across. But we'd already fixed it in a suboptimal way at our center. And so that patient now will have a higher risk of complications in the long term because of the simple thing of the image not being sent across in time. So this is an example of siloing of data. I'm going to show you now on the screen, so have a look. The way it currently works in the NHS is that you have these different pockets. So let's say this is the hospital system, and even Hosp 1 and Hosp 2 have their own different systems, and then you've also got the GP service who has their own different system, and then you've got this kind of semi-functioning bridge which connects the two of them. So it goes across, but it's very slow because it's based on kind of using a separate layer on top of what is already old technology. So whenever someone requests to put something inside this loop, it tends to take quite a long time to get the information back, and there can be discrepancies between what is held in here, in this middle bit, and what is held in the separate silos of data. This causes a lot of different problems, like we don't know which one's the right patient address, and etc., etc. So there's quite a simple solution to all of this, and that is we simply just have one system, which is a cloud that all parties are within. So everyone can access all of the data as separate nodes, and we kind of share within a pool which everyone can draw from. Okay. And now the thing about blockchain technology is this is exactly what it's set up to do. So it's a decentralized service that cannot be changed. It's immutable. It's what they call it. It works on ledger and consensus to make sure that everyone in the actual chain confirms any changes before they go through. And so there's no backdoor, there's no way to hack the information, which is essential in healthcare. And if that system were implemented, then that specific patient would have had better care, would have been transferred to the other hospital in time, and would receive less complications. Now, what I say here is just one example of what I have personally experienced as a doctor. And so you can imagine then of how many occasions of things like this happening would be across the whole country, and how much inefficiency there is in the system, how many hours have been spent of people's times, doctors, nurses, healthcare assistant, just being on the phone chasing data because the systems don't talk to each other. See, the way it works now is even within the same hospital, there are actually different silos, it's systems that don't talk to each other. So, if I'm in orthopedics, I've got access to data that people within the medical team don't have, and so they need to call me so that I can access my system and feed them back the results from my system. And it just causes so much inefficiency, and ultimately the people who suffer are the patients, because they have longer wait times, they suffer in unnecessary complications, duplications of investigation, and it really is troublesome. And all of this sounds good in theory, but the truth is it would be very, very difficult to implement, because each of these systems that is siloed has a specific purpose to the team that it serves. And to build an actual blockchain system that encompasses all of those individual functions for each department would, quite frankly, take decades. But with enough motivation and enough will, anything is possible. And this is definitely the future in healthcare. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, shed some light. I was really, really sad that patient had a suboptimal outcome. It does happen sometimes, but hopefully we can learn from mistakes that happen and improve as a result, so that people in the future can end up doing better from it. So take care. That'll be the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. If you did enjoy this, then actually go check out my other content here on this channel. Specifically the one about Elon Musk is quite popular. Go have a look at that somewhere here. See you.